Hello guys, my name is Balakrishna Srivastava and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video, we solve a question of 2D arrays in Java, which is a solved example question for ISC 2025 Computer Science Practical, and this is the question. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 views, only 2 to 3 are subscribed. More than 95% of my audience is not subscribed, and a subscription is very important. So please do subscribe to my channel. And one more thing before I start is that I teach coding in Hindi on a separate Code with BK Hindi channel as well. So I started my Code with BK channel in 2018, and then I had a lot of requests, comments to teach coding in Hindi, where I started this channel. So if you could maybe take 5 minutes out of your time and maybe just check out this channel, let me know your views. That would be very helpful. Okay. All right. So we are given this question, and okay, this is a question on 2D arrays for ISC Computer Science Practical class 12th students. And you get 3 questions. You get one on integers, one on 2D arrays, one on strings. You get a very similar question. Okay. So this is a question that follows the format for a 2D arrays question. Okay. So in this, you have to declare matrix of size m into m. M is number of rows, n is number of columns. Both m and n must be greater than 2, less than 10. Allow user to input integers into this matrix. Display appropriate message if for an invalid input. Invalid input would be when m and n are not in range. Okay. Perform the following task. Display the matrix. Rotate the matrix 260 degree anti-clockwise. So 90 degrees, 90 degrees thrice. Okay. We'll see how to do this. Calculate sum of odd elements of the matrix and display. Okay. So this is the example 3, 4. Number of rows are 3, columns are 4. And elements are entered in this manner. They are entered in one line and comma separate. Okay. You print original matrix, rotated matrix, sum of odd elements. Okay. So whenever I solve IC practical questions, my aim is to replicate the input and the output from the question into my program as much as possible. All right. So it says m equal to, and then 3 is given, and it says n equal to. So I'm going to prompt m equal to, and then expect the user to input the number of rows. Similarly, I prompt n equal to, expect the user to input number of columns. Okay. And then we read the elements. All right. So I'll say scanner equal to new scanner system dot in. Okay. Close the scanner. Closing the scanner is a good practice. Scanner dot close. Okay. So read the value of m. So I am going to prompt system dot out dot print m equal to. Okay. And then read integer m as dot next event. Okay. Similarly, I read the value of n as well. Okay. The value of n. Prompt the value for n, read the value for n. Okay. Now after I read m and n, I will validate the value of m and n first, and then I prompt for entering elements, read the elements into this 2D array. Okay. Validate values of m and n. Okay. So if m is out of range, that is if m is greater than 2 and m is less than 10. If m is not in this range, that it is not greater than 2 and less than 10, I'm going to say sysout. Okay, invalid size or invalid input. Okay, and then I return to terminate the program. Okay, similar is the case for n. If n is not in the range, okay, I print invalid size return. You get yellow squiggles here because the compiler is asking you to close the scanner. Okay. So you close, you don't lose any marks for warnings. Okay. All right. Now read the input elements. Okay. So elements are input comma separated in one single line. So I read this as a string. So I say prompting the user to enter the elements. Okay. So string elements is scanner dot next line. And this is the input that we have to read. Okay. And one thing that you have to note here is this elements will be a blank line, because if I just simply print this to the output, right? Elements input, okay, plus elements, okay, and I input say 3, 4, okay, and you see the program terminates. Okay. The program does not wait for me to input this line of elements, and this is because when you are entering an integer here, right, you're also pressing enter after typing in the integer. So that extra change in line character is still in the input buffer, which is read by scanner.nextLine, and that's why you get an empty line. And this is something that I've explained in detail when I compare how to use next with nextLine and nextInt. Okay, so you can find the link of the video in the description. Please look at that. Okay, to fix this, you simply absorb the extra change in line. Okay, now when I run this, I say 3,4 and entering elements now. Okay, so okay, all right, so element inputs is now correct. Okay, all right, and this is a very standard thing that you should take care of, the extra change in line character when you are using next line right after next int. Okay, so we have read our input. Okay, we need to parse this line and store it into this 2D matrix. Okay, for this I'm going to write a separate function. Okay, static void populate matrix. Okay, takes in the 2D matrix in which the elements are need to be populated, and string elements the input line. Okay, so you need to do is create the 2D array. Okay, so int matrix is new int m rows n columns and populate. So populate matrix with this string elements. Okay, now how do I extract integers from this comma separated line? I mean, you can do this in multiple ways. We can use split, we can use a scanner, and we can use substring as well. So I'm going to show you two methods right now, maybe one at the end. So parse the line and store the integers into 2D array. Okay, okay, so we have, suppose these integers, right? Say 4, 7, 8, 10, 5, say 9. Okay, and you see there is a space after every comma, space, space, right? That's the format that is followed. Okay, so now you need to extract integers from a string that contains this. We are going to use three methods. First is split method in string class, second is using scanner, okay, and third is using substring. Okay, in the first method we simply use split on the string based upon comma. Okay, so the tokens are this, and this. All right, first is using split to extract integers. Okay, so string tokens. Okay, so when you split a string based upon a delimiter, the elements between two delimiters is called a single token, so you get a array of tokens. Okay, we call, so elements dot split based upon a comma. Okay, let's just print the tokens, right? Okay, sys out token. Okay, and this is the input. I'm gonna copy and paste it again and again. So 3, 4 and pasting input. So you see these are the tokens that we get. So token is basically everything between two commas, space 7, space 9, space 3, and so on. All right, we need to convert these tokens into integers and store it into our 2D array. All right, so all you have to do is, and the order of the elements, okay, for example, these 4, they go into the first row, then minus 2, 0, 4, 5 go into the second row, 1, 3, 6, 4, 6 minus 4 go into the third row. Okay, so you have to pick up elements left to right and keep populating the 2D array row wise. Okay, so we traverse the 2D array row wise. I say int m is going to be matrix dot length, and int n is equals to matrix of 0 dot length. Number of rows is matrix dot length, number of columns matrix 0 dot length. So I less than m I plus plus. Okay, then for int j equal to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. Okay, you get the integer as integer dot parse int tokens of, I'll take a index token, index is 0. Okay, this will pick up the next token in this array. So tokens of token index and token index plus plus. Okay, and then you put matrix of ij into x. Okay, So what we are doing is we are iterating the 2D array row wise, first row, second row, and third row and onwards. Okay, this is one iteration that we are doing, and the other iteration we are doing is using this token index to iterate the list of the array of tokens. So when you are at the first location in the 2D array, you are at the first token, right? Second location, second element in the 2D array, which is the second element in the first row, second element in the token index. Okay, and that is how you keep iterating rows and you keep iterating this list of tokens. So you convert this token into an integer and place it in the 2D array. Okay, so now we have populated the matrix. We need to print matrix now. All right. Okay, so we can try to run this now. So 3 4 3 4 and the input. Okay, we get an exception on line. We will be getting an exception on line. Let me tell you the line, this one, which is 29. So if you, okay, so you see line number 29, because what is happening is, let me just try to print this again. So what is happening is you're trying to convert a string that contains a space as well, okay, to its corresponding integer value. Okay, so 8 is converted fine. When you try to convert space and 7, it's a problem. Space and 7 is not allowed. You need to trim all the leading and trailing white spaces. So for that we can do dot trim. Okay, because in the input, if you go back, comma, space and 7, so between two commas there is a space and 7 and not just 7. So you need to get rid of the extra white spaces. Okay, now that we run this 3 and 4, we should be we are just printing the output, right? The program terminates. Okay, this red light is off. So what we can do, we can call print matrix, and we don't need to print these. We should just get the matrix from the given input set of elements. Okay, 8793 minus 205 136 minus 4, which is what we are expecting. Okay, so we are able to read input and populate the input elements into this 2D array. Okay, next part comes is rotating and then summing the odd elements. Okay, so how do we perform rotation? So let me just explain the rotation, right? For example, if we are given a matrix ABC DEF GHI, you need to rotate this 270-degree anti-clockwise. I can break this down into 3 steps of 90-degree anti-clockwise. So 270-degree anti-clockwise is the same as 90-degree anti-clockwise plus 90-degree anti-clockwise plus 90-degree anti-clockwise. Okay, so rather than coding this function, I code 90-degree anti-clockwise and call it thrice. Okay, so if I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Okay, I need to rotate this 90-degree anti-clockwise. Okay, now how do I do this? So this has to be rotated like this. So your resulting array, 2D array, would be DHL. This comes here, then C, G, K, then B, F, J, then A, E, I. Okay, number of rows were 3, number of columns were 4, number of columns and rows are exchanged. Number of rows are now 4, number of columns are now 3. So these were the row indices and these are column indices. So these are row indices now and these are column indices. Okay, now how do you do this conversion? So the first thing you have to do is a new matrix with swapped rows and columns. Okay, rows becomes columns and columns become rows. So when you are trying to write a function, static int, the return value will be the resultant matrix that you get by rotating the given matrix by 90-degree anti-clockwise. So rotate matrix 90-degree, okay, or you can say rotate 90-degree anti-clockwise. You pass in the matrix to be rotated. Okay, first thing, create a new matrix with swapped rows and columns. Okay, so I'll say int rotated matrix is going to be new int number of rows and number of columns are swapped now. So if these are the number of rows and number of columns in the original matrix, so it is n by m now, not m by n, and return this rotated matrix. Okay. Okay, now how do we find this rotated matrix? So you can see, okay, we are copying DHL into the first row, then CGK in the second row, and so on. So we are copying from right to left, from the last column to the first column. So we iterate original matrix from last to first column. Okay, for int j equal to last column is going to be n minus 1, right? Number of columns are n, j greater than equal to 0, j minus minus. Okay, now we copy this jth column into the first row. Okay, then the next column into the second row, third column into the third row, fourth column into the fourth row, starting from the last. Okay, so we are moving a j backwards and this row moves forwards. If I dash is the row for this new matrix, I dash moves forward. And you have to copy this jth column, so you have to iterate all the rows of this column. What do I mean by this is copy this column to the row of the rotated matrix. Okay, so for int I equal to 0, so in order to copy the column values, you'll have to iterate all the rows I less than m, I plus plus. Okay, you say rotated matrix. Okay, the indices are going to be matrix, original matrix of I comma j. Okay, this value is, but this here value is I comma j index. How do you put this here? Okay, since we are moving the row forwards, so the row for this rotated matrix can start from 0. Okay, and it can increment after each column is copied into the corresponding row of the rotated matrix. That is, when you are copying this column, k is 0, which is this row. When you are done copying this column, k becomes 1, j comes here. Okay, and then you copy into the next row of the rotated matrix. When this column is copied, this becomes 2. Okay, so k is now pointing to the next row in the rotated matrix. Okay, and the column of the rotated matrix is the row number for original matrix. Okay, column 0 is the row number. Okay, column H is the row number, L is the row number. Similarly, C is the row number 0, G is the row number 0, K is G is the row number 1, K is the row number 2. Okay, so this code will create a 90-degree anti-clockwise rotated 2D array of the given input array. Okay, all right, we need to call this method thrice. Okay, so now let's print the original matrix first as it is given in the output. So I say this message sys out original matrix. Okay, and I call print matrix. So print matrix. Okay, and matrix, I don't need to print in the method that populates this, that was just to test. Okay, then I rotate matrix 270 degrees anti-clockwise. Okay, so matrix is rotate. Okay, and this happens thrice. Let us just do this twice and see what we get the output, and then we say rotated matrix. So rotated matrix, print the rotated matrix. Okay, rotated matrix, right? Okay, so we can try with this input itself. Okay, 3 comma 4, 3 comma 4. Okay, so this last row becomes the last column, 136 minus 4, 136 minus 4. Okay, rotates like this. Then minus 2045, minus 2045, and this. Okay, so now that we do this twice more, we should get the original output. And copying the input again, 3 4. Okay, 1 minus 2 8, 1 minus 2 8, 307 649 minus 453, which is what we want. Okay, so our rotation is working fine. Let us try 3 comma 3 1. Okay, so let's do this 4 5 6 7 8 9, copying the last column into the first row, copying the last column into the first row to 3 6 9, second column 2 5 8 third column 147. This is 90 degree anti-clockwise. Again, last column into first row 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Again, this is again 90 degree anti-clockwise. Final 90 degree anti-clockwise. So 7 4 1 8 5 2 9 6 3, and we should get this 741 852 748 963, and so our output is correct. Okay, let's try for an invalid case 2 4 invalid size. The second sample case is 3 comma 2 enter elements 3 rows 2 columns, but the output is original 3 column 2 rows. So this is not correct. We can try this with 2 rows and 3 columns. So we can try this with 2 rows and 3 columns, but limit is greater than 2 less than 10. So this is a wrong sample output. Okay, all right. Even if I make this greater than equal to 2 for a moment, right, and this, okay, and run 2 comma 3 9 13 41 9 13 41 6 5 6 minus 5 5 6 minus 5 5 9 6 13 minus 5 41. Okay, although this is an incorrect case because number of rows and columns should be greater than 2 and less than 10, so 2 should be invalid. Okay, all right, final part is left is sum the odd elements. So I'm going to write a helper function, static int sum odd elements int matrix. Okay, get number of rows and columns. Okay, iterate the matrix. Okay, we need a recurring sum that starts with 0. Need to return this sum. Okay, so if matrix of ij %2 is not equal to 0, okay, I do sum plus equal to matrix ij. Okay, all right, and finally we add a message print sum of odd elements. So sys out sum of odd elements equal to sum of odd elements equal to plus sum odd elements. Okay, so you rotate the matrix, do not rotate the matrix. The sum of odd elements is going to remain the same because the elements remain the same even if you are rotating the matrix. So now I say 3 comma 4 and the input is this part. So odd elements is 28. Okay, let us try our own case as well. 3 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, sum of odd elements is 7 plus 1 8 13 13 9 22 25. Okay, so there were two other methods that you can extract strings using. This is scanner and the third is substring. I'm gonna very quickly go through this. So basically creating a scanner to extract string is you create a string that has integers space separated. So what you do is you basically create another string by copying the contents of this string except the comma. So when you skip the comma, all the integers are now white space separated. Now you can extract the string using a scanner. What do I mean by this is I say string integers is blank. Okay, for int I equal to 0, I less than this is elements dot length I plus plus. Okay, char ch is elements dot caret I if ch not equal to comma. Okay, you add it to integers plus equal to ch. Then you create a scanner sc equal to new scanner from this integers. Okay, you do sc dot close as well. Okay, you say you iterate the same thing, the 2D array, and you say matrix of ij is sc dot next int. Okay, we can comment this out. Okay, so what this is doing is we do need this, right? Okay, so what this is doing is creating a string of space separated integers, and we get that by removing the comma from this input string. Okay, and then we extract integers from this string using a scanner. So now when I run this with the same input, I should get the same output. Okay, we are running this code now. 3 4 and okay, everything is correct. Okay, the third one is using a substring, that is we extract the substring that contains the integer, okay, by finding the index where the comma is. So you find the index where the comma is, you extract the substring that contains the integer, then you remove that substring from the string, then again look for the comma, find the substring, extract integer, remove the substring with the comma, and you keep doing this till you are at the end of the string. That is, you say for okay, I say int comma index is elements dot index of, and you find the comma. Okay, if the comma is not found, you are at the last integer, else you are not at the last integer. When you are at the last integer, you can simply say matrix of ij is integer dot parse int. Okay, the last integer will be in this elements string. Okay, right, without any comma, with a white space. Else get the substring containing the integer. So you say string int string is now elements dot substring starting from index 0 till the comma index. Okay, you store the integer from this int string now, and you have to remove this part of the string from elements. So you say elements is elements dot substring from comma index plus 1. Okay, and in string you can trim because they will be a white space. Yeah. Okay, now when I run this as well, I should get the same output. Okay, let me just check. Looks okay. So 3 4. Okay, same output. Okay, all right, so this was the solution to this problem, and I guess the video is way too long now, but I just wanted to share as much as I could. So I hope you like this video and this was helpful. So if there is any doubt, there is a part you don't understand, please let me know in the comments. So make sure that you check the description of this video for all the helpful links. All right, so please do like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.